So you're involved in multiple brands, multiple industries, very different clientele, very different needs from consumers, customers. How are you able to operate all these different brands? Do you just focus on the business basics and maybe let your team members that are focused on individual brands really have autonomy, or how would you say you're able to do that?
Development and delegation. Yeah. So I've got great managers. I've got great area managers that handle the day-to-day to everything. And then I'm in contact with them via the phone or email or Zoom. And it's all coaching. It's all about having the right culture and having everyone clearly understand what the actual goal is. Like, why are we coming to work every day? And, for my area managers, like at Sport Clips as an example, they have one job, is to make sure that everyone that works underneath them is making more than they were last year, because we're all productivity-based and commission-based. So, their goal is drive in more clients, get the stylist to be more efficient, get the clients to upsell, or the stylist to upsell more. And that's how you grow the business. So they can peel that onion much different ways based on their skill set or what their energy level is. Sometimes you do something for a while and you need to take a break from that and do something else. So as an example, an area manager may focus on getting our retail sales up. That's going to make sales go up. That's going to make commissions go up. That's one win. Driving in new clients through local store marketing. That's going to bring in more sales because you just simply have more clients. So they can attack this different ways based on how they're feeling, where their strengths are, and where can you go now? Because at some point you get some diminishing returns on your time and investment, right? So you can only get your staff to sell so much retail per client. So once you've done really well at that, go move on to the next challenge. Bring in more clients or get the paid back bar up. That's our upgrades and our haircuts.
That makes a lot of sense. So if you work with your team to set one of those goals, or your team works, your area managers work, or regional managers work with your store managers to set some of these goals, how often would you say they're measuring, one, and two, holding other team members accountable? Is it quarterly? Is it monthly? Do you have a cadence?
Yeah. So oddly enough, while we're doing this interview, my area managers and managers are on a Zoom meeting. They have a weekly meeting on Mondays, and they go over last week's numbers. So it's very much iron sharpens iron. We go over everyone's numbers. There's friendly competition in our organization, right? Everyone's wanting to do better, which is great. I mean, our mission statement has no numbers, no quantitative things. It's about moving up, being excellent, things like that. So once you hit a certain level, it's expected that you need to go to the next level because there's something else out there, because there's someone else who goes, they're on top. I don't want them to be on top. I want to be on top, right? And it's not like a situation like you got crabs in a bucket where they're trying to pull people down. They're just wanting to do better. And so there's like this cross-pollination of inspiration going on in our organization. So I have not been on that meeting for at least 3 years. And the last time I was on it, it was just a special announcement. Self-regulated. They understand. Everyone understands that if the salon performs better, everyone makes more money. So they're just already interested in that. And then I have a weekly Zoom meeting with all my area managers, and we go over what we expect off them. And the number one thing that they have to do, and it takes up about 3/4 of the meeting, is they have to share with the other area managers what their wins for the week was. And I can tell you, they don't like it when they don't have a lot of wins. And I don't have to chastise them. I don't have to tell them anything. They beat themselves up when they don't have a lot of wins. And boy, when they do have a lot of wins, they're super excited about it. So the meetings are always fun because there's always 2 or 3 that have amazing wins every week. But for the most part, everyone's got wins. That's a part too, is a function of gratitude, right? If you know you're going to have to get in front of everyone and talk about what went well this week, you're going to start looking for the things that went well. And when you do that, your mindset's completely different. You start seeing all these things, and you're like, this is a great company to work with because this happened. These were great things. I didn't think about it because they happen often, but there's still a win.
That's such a great point. We recently started doing a personal win and business win every Monday in our leadership meeting. And I kind of knew that it incentivizes someone to think a little more positively, but I never quite heard someone put it the way you just did. And it's such a great point to make, because I think as humans, we're kind of wired to look at the negative sometimes. So to reset that and have people focus on the positive, I'm sure has been huge for your culture. Do you also have other things you do with your companies or team members to incentivize the type of culture you want to build? You want to build a positive culture, a culture that's about winning or getting better, constant self-improvement. What else are you really trying to focus on?
Well, all the leaders in our company, there are 4 responsibilities of a leader at my company. And the first one is to protect the gratitude. Okay. And what that translates to is the culture. Okay. Culture's king. Culture trumps strategy every day. The second one is protect the vision. So for us, that's the mission statement. Most companies have a mission statement. So the leader must protect that. And where I'm going with that is just making sure all the oars are pulling in the right direction in the water, that you don't have mission creep, right? Because someone's passionate about something and it doesn't get you back to where your core values and what your mission is. And then number 3 is constantly challenging the status quo. So you put some great numbers up on the board, celebrate it, but don't rest on your laurels. And then the 4th thing is constantly develop leaders around you. So the number 1 thing that my team knows, that you can't get promoted unless there's 2 or 3 people that could already do your job better than you that work with you already. And if you've created a vacuum where you don't have anyone that could replace you for a promotion, you don't get considered for the promotion.
Wow, I like that a lot. So that also, I would imagine, prevents micromanaging because you're building up team members versus being a taskmaster, if you will. So do you see a lot of folks in your organization stick around longer than industry norms? In some franchises, I think particularly in food, there's a lot of employee turnover.
Yeah.
Do you see less of that?
I see less turnover in my leadership team than I ever have before. We're looking at and identifying, we've got average turnover for our brand. And to be honest with you, that doesn't set well with anyone in my organization. So we are going back right now and re-looking at what can we do the first 90 days of someone's experience with us as a team member, and how can we make that better? Because all the data shows that if you can get someone to stay 90 days with you, they're going to stay a year with you. And if they stay a year with you, they might just stay 7, 10, 9 years. That's work in progress for us. That's actually something that they're discussing right now in the meeting. And the number 1 thing is that more training sooner. So, I mean, we've always been pretty strong advocates of development, but now we're going to be very regimented about the actual, like, by this day of their age of employment, they have to have completed these things. And that's just, I think people want to do well. And when they feel like they're not, that's when they quit.
Yeah, I agree. Owning multiple brands, do you have team members that are working on multiple brands, or are they all siloed?
They're all siloed. So the only thing that's not siloed is our back office, right? So and that's because money is universal, right? So dealing with vendors, that can come from one person that handles all the different vendors for all the brands. Bookkeeping, I mean, we're doing accrual counting. It's going to be the same for everything. So we only need one controller or bookkeeper for that. But part of my success is I've identified that for any particular business, you need to have a strong understanding who the ideal customer is, and then who is the ideal employee for that customer. And so what is an ideal employee for one brand probably is not the ideal employee for another brand. So we silo those off. And I think anyone that does it the other way, and I've seen people do it, I don't think they're as productive. I think they have a little bit higher turnover. They have, I think, less scales of efficiency too, to be honest with you. Even though they think they do, their performance doesn't show otherwise. And so when I see someone that's in charge of restaurants and a video store, both of them suck, right? But when they were in charge of just the video store was doing great. And it's partly because you hired that person because they were the right fit for the video store. They're not the right fit for the pizza place.